Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Konadra here, and welcome back to Automation, the car company tycoon game. In our Lite campaign playthrough once again, what did I even call this company? I believe it is Vanity. That, I'm really stretching my memory to try and remember that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And the year is 1971. We currently have ourselves a muscle car, the Roscoska, and a sports coupe slash convertible, the Ankle, in production, and the Magnet is in engineering. The Magnet will be our first everyday kind of car. It is a budget-friendly car for an economy that is, well, honestly doing quite well in the normal premium luxury kind of categories and not so much the budget. But I felt the need to build ourselves a budget car to give our company some future-proofing, just in case things do go bad. We are sitting at $1.9 billion, which is just under what we started our company at. The goal for today is to get ourselves back well above the 2 billion mark and to get ourselves pretty far into the future, because the early 70s to me are not a time that I feel as though our company is in desperate need to produce a lot more vehicles. The year 1975, thereabouts, is somewhere in the range of where I think we need to start engineering our next car. That's kind of a bold strategy. There's a lot of cars I could build here in the early 70s. I could build replacements for the Roscoska or the Ankle or something different altogether. But my gut feeling is that the year 1975 will be late enough that we'll be able to have some new tech available, like vented discs, fully clad, turbochargers, which we may or may not use, to be honest. We'll have catalytic converters, possibly the ability to have electronic fuel injection with an increased budget in fuel systems. So what I'm going to do, as you can see, we're already ahead of here. We're on 1971 in the scope of things. So we're a year ahead in fuel technologies. I'm going to bump our funding significantly in fuel systems to a $2 million budget to try and get this ahead of way everybody else, which was poorly worded, but you know what I mean. I want us to be on the cutting edge of the EFI scene and prepare ourselves for the leaded fuel ban that will be coming up quite shortly. So let's make sure we're ahead of the ball on that. Hell, let's go to 5. Let's do a $4 million investment on our fuel systems. It's a hefty investment, and we're leaving a lot of other things blank here, but I think it's going to be important. I'm going to cut back on the wheels because we already have a nice quality point to use there, and with even a 1 tick rating here, we may get this to 2 by the time we hit 1975. But before we get there, I've got to get these 3 cars through the early 70s here, see what happens with the economy and whatnot. I know the Ankle in particular is a car that it's been very finicky. Like the Coupe or the Vert, they kind of bounce back and forth. Which one's selling more? If it's selling at all. We have this whole Fruinium market that this car was built with very little consideration for, but is selling cars. I'm feeling like maybe selling them at a discount there to try and sell some more units and get some familiarity in that region. It's not going to hurt us financially to do that, and I think it's worthwhile. And the demand you see is here quite high. However, we seem to be sitting on a lot of these cars right now, so I'm actually going to turn the production down a little bit on them. How about our friend the Roscoska? How is it doing? Pretty well. It's making a decent amount of money, and this one's a pretty simple one to maintain an audience for. I'm going to do the same thing here and try and sell a few more in Fruinia, because at the low sales we have here, It just seems to make sense to do that. Other than that, it's doing pretty well. You can see our demand again is a little bit higher than production, but we're still sitting on cars, so I'm not going to increase the amount we're producing just yet. It'll be February before we start making magnets, so let's wait for that to see how it is doing. Alright, now it is March 1st. Looks like, yeah, we're still sitting on a lot of convertibles and need more coupes of the ankle. I can make that change pretty quickly here. More coupes, less verts. And then Roscoska sold out. I would say our economy must be shifting. Yes, the luxury market is indeed, premium and luxury is indeed on the incline once again. So let's make more Roscoskas. And I now kind of understand the importance of having a backlog of cars too. Having them sitting around for the end of their production cycle is actually a pretty important thing. So I'm not going to be as worried about having, you know, maybe 5,000 of these cars sitting around. That's not as big of a deal. The magnets look like they're doing okay. Maybe producing them a little bit over the top right now, but we'll give it some time to figure it out. Oh, buddy. We just hit 0 on a bunch of cars, which means we're missing sales. Missing sales is bad. I think we have a lot more room in the magnets. Never mind, we don't have any more room in the magnets production. And this is one of the things that was discussed in the comments of last video, is that I bought a lot of land, but didn't make a very big factory. And that may have been a mistake for this car. I'll keep that in mind. We have a lot of land. When this factory is done and we're producing another car on this plot, we'll have to use this plot for a very high production vehicle and build a big factory. So yeah, lesson learned there. But for now, I think I'm just going to mark it up a little bit so that we sell less of them but at more of a profit. And then the ankle, both of them now need more units. And we can make more, so we'll do that. Alright, 1971 summary. We sold 245,000 cars. We already sold 103,000 magnets. Now, the stock on them has indeed climbed quite high. We're sitting on 5,000 of those. However, like I said, I'm not as worried about that right now. Profits. We made a profit this year of 364 million, which means we're up above that 2 billion mark once again. However, the Roscoska and the ankle just kind of took off. Wow. We're almost to a full 1.0 economic strength in luxury. So that would explain why those two are doing pretty well. Budget is starting to flatten out, so that's why that one is kind of struggling. So for early 1972, let's go ahead and probably produce less of these guys. And maybe make it a bit cheaper too. For the sake of making that money, I went ahead and increased the margin on the ankle and Roscoska. Instead of selling a lot more units, trying to make more money per unit, and we'll see how that goes. And yeah, let's see. Markets. Wow, markets are really on the incline right now. It's a shame we don't have new cars coming out at the moment. However, I think our muscle premium and muscle car is good. Our convertible is good, and we're maybe selling a little bit to these commuter cars with our car that I suddenly can't remember the name of. Magnet. It's the Magnet. And let's get through 1972. Alright, 1972 in the books. 253,000 cars sold. Profit this year of 410 million. So despite the fact that we're doing all this extra R&D, we're still making a pretty hefty profit. We're now 727 million above that 2 billion point. That 2 billion point is kind of going to be my personal scoring. Staying above that mark, I would consider a success. I would say one of my end goals for this series is to get to 4 billion. So we could say that, hey, we actually doubled our available money. We could pay back that 2 billion we started with if it was for some reason, you know, a loan or whatever. But that would be a nice watermark to say that we really succeeded. The score of 2,317, I have no idea if that's good or not, to be honest. I have a feeling it's probably not in the grand scope of things, because I'm very much so playing this like campaign and focusing this company on stuff I want to build instead of, you know, things that would possibly increase our score better. Alright, let's pause. Let's see how things are doing. Over 1. We are over 1 on luxury. Almost 2-1 on premium. And normal continues to climb. Budget, I mean, it's staying flat. It's not, there's no disasters happening in budget, but the magnet is probably kind of struggling at the moment. Seems like we just had some new competitors come in against the ankle, because I noticed we're sitting on some of those. The coupes in particular started selling kind of poorly. However, the markup on these things has gotten unreal, so I'm just going to back off on that markup just a bit. How's our R&D doing? Look at that! We're already in 1976, and it's only 1973. Basic math in my head tells me that we should be, by 1975, easily to 1978 tech. That's going to be very good for us. This, however, doesn't look like it's going to quite get there. I think my understanding on this was wrong. And this means that we'll have 1 quality point to use at max. So 1.25 is where that's going to stay. This one could get up to 5. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to play out 1973 and see how it goes. Alright, we close out 73. It was kind of a rough year, actually. It seemed like sales across the board were a little stagnant. The one thing of note is the Magnet became our top profiting car, and it actually kind of leveled out where we were producing about as many as we were selling, so we're sitting on about equal footing ground of stock, and we built up a lot of stock of Ankle and Roscoska. So I could cut production on these two to make a little bit more money. However, we are now at the $3 billion mark, so that's pretty cool. We've, in a couple of years there, padded $1 billion in the bank to move towards a new project. And these cars, I think, are going to stay relevant long enough. So 1975 is going to be the beginning of a total new model lineup for our company, where all 3 of these would get replaced, and we'll have something new that will probably have a familiar flair to it, but it'll be a new model again for our lineup. 324 was the profit for the year. We are losing prestige a little bit because I think we're selling so many magnets. It's dragging us down, but the magnet is gaining us in reputation, which is nice. But overall, our reputation and prestige are rather stagnant. Worth looking at the economy, and yes, it looks like things have started to level off now. This could go real bad the other way, or it could just, you know, play out kind of similar to how this did. We don't know how it's going to go, but I believe we have a nice lineup right now that could handle it whichever way it does go. Alright, another year of not a whole lot of drama there. We actually lost reputation this year, so it seems as though something in our lineup has gotten to the point where its reliability is subpar from competitors. So that's unfortunate, but it's no dramatic number. We only lost 1.23. We've been in far worse shape than that before. It is now January 1st, 1975. We've got about 10,000 units sitting in stock of all 3 of our models, which is in the neighborhood of where I like to be. So if we need to, we can trim back on production. And actually, I did a little bit on these 2. The Magnet did really well this year as the budget economy has improved. And let's see. Yeah, City Eco has just come online, so that's a category we could be selling to. And it is indeed 9.2 out of 12. We're selling really good in City, super good in Sport budget, and pretty good in Muscle still. Fun Premium Fun. The convertible commuter we're not doing great in, but we're getting some sales there. That would be a nice one to improve on somewhere in the future. That's such a big category. Alright, R&D. Alright, we reached the 4 mark, so we have 4 points there to use. And we are at 1979. Oh man, We almost would have had, I guess, premium fuel, which wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. Wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. Oh well, that is what it is. So 1979, we'll definitely have EFI. We'll have to see what that does for our engine as we make ourselves a new car. And our new car is gonna be the return of the truffle in new Eurovan style. Yes, it's time. We need ourselves a people mover and a utility car because we're really not selling to that market and they're still quite big. So let's do it. Ladder or monocoque? I don't know. I think the weight savings of the monocoque would be good. Steel is fine. Let's do it longitudinal. McPherson. The last one I think I made in solid rear axle. I don't know. I mean, we have more familiarity in semi-trailing arm. This would give us more. Let's see here. Utility is the word I'm looking for, isn't it? Load capacity very high versus average. Let's do the solid axle coil and we'll see. I might have to come back to that. Oh, styling. What can I do to this thing? Well, we know what the name of this guy is going to be before we even get into it. So this one's going to be the Truffle Mark II. And if you're wondering why Truffle, that is a nickname that was given to We Can Game If We Want To, because We Can Game If We Want To is such a pain of a username to say. He also goes by Paul and has a cool channel called Paul's Garage where he does some pretty interesting stuff with amateur like smelting and welding, and he's making his own like Power Wheels Jeep thing. It is pretty cool and you should check it out. And he also happens to own an old Ford van that is the butt of many jokes, so that is why any van that I produce will be known as the Truffle. And now you know that this van will also probably be rear-wheel drive. I don't see the need for 4x4. Engine time. Alright, we need a good torquey small V8. That is what my gut tells me. We could potentially also probably do a small V6 or a mid-size V6, but I think we're going to want the grunt of a V8 for this guy. It worked real well for us in the first one, and I think we can do it pretty affordably. Keeping it low in the displacement, 4.4 liters. This is not going to be a very high-turning engine, not a very high-revving engine. Let's see here, virtually no compression. A little bit of an easy cam profile. Naturally aspirated, we could turbo it. No, naturally aspirated. Injection, single point EFI. Okay, tech pool required 3. We have 4, so we're good there. We won't be penalized. And we have 1 left over to make it even better. This is all very good news. Okay. Regular unleaded, because we want this thing to be able to sell for like the next 15 years. And if we're ahead of the ball on this fuel type, then I think we're going to be in real good shape as we head into the late 70s, early 80s. I believe it's 82 that our cutoff is. I'm not sure. I think it's 82. And that cutoff obviously being when we can no longer use leaded fuel. Alright, we don't need 500 horsepower. In fact, we probably, 260 is probably going to be enough. Do I put a cat on it? I guess I should, if we're really going to future-proof it. What's our initial run look like? $1,000 material cost is a little high, but that EFI system is probably pretty pricey. Power is low, 181, 215 foot-pounds of torque. Doesn't need to rev that high. We got some compression left in it. 10.6 to 1 economy. I would like to improve upon that. So let's actually reduce this fuel mix. 3.1, that would be good. Really use this, you know, high efficiency single point EFI setup. And let's see what kind of compression we could add. A fair bit before it gets all unhappy. 187 horsepower. Some RPM issues. We can fix that. There we go, 5,500 and not lose any power. 222 foot-pounds of torque is plenty. 187 horsepower sounds awful, but when you think about it, a 4.5 liter V8, 187 horsepower on regular unleaded fuel in 1975 starts to make it sound a lot better, and a reliability of 49 sounds really good. We'll have to see what engineering time is on this thing, though. That's what could kill us. I'm tempted, though, to give it a little bit more displacement, just to get a bit more power out of it. See if we can get to maybe 200. Yeah, bottom end's not displeased all the way up to 4.9 liters. We still have a reliability of 49. Let's do that. So 248 foot-pounds and 207 horsepower. I believe we have too much exhaust. Nope, that'll be good. All right. Single 2.5. Did I forget anything? I don't believe so. We're good. All right, named everything. This is the Utilifam model and the super high-tech van mover engine with the EFI. Move on to the trim stuff. And let's see what we can do. I think it works out well when I do the basic run-through of everything and then do the fine-tuning with you guys. I think that's the interesting part. So let me go ahead and do that. All right, we're coming up on the dramatic moment where when I click passive, we'll get our first scores. All right, delivery and delivery were the first two on the list, and they are already above 100. That is a good sign. We'll do normal and make sure we have enough ride height. Very good, very good. Before I start doing any tuning, markets. All right. Delivery, delivery, and delivery are doing fantastic. Family utility is sitting on 105. Family at 81. Family sport at 86. Pony budget at 99.7. Utility is above 100, and heavy utility is at 91. A lot of other ones are green that we're not quite seeing. There's actually quite a good smattering of green there, isn't there? Okay. Let's undo delivery and put in family utility. So automatic versus manual, that's one thing I was curious about. It does make the family utility quite a bit better. Quite a bit better. We lose some miles per gallon. We gain a bunch of drivability, and we lose all sportiness. So that'll probably kill that pony sliding in there. But if it's a better car overall, there's sadly no reason not to do it, I do believe. And come on, it only makes sense, I guess. Let's see. Spacing. Give it a little overdrive to try and get some of that. Wow, 0 to 60, 8.3? That's almost too good, isn't it? That might be too good. This thing's way faster than it needs to be. You know, in fact, I may even go back and take some power out of this thing and give it more economy. Because 10 miles per gallon doesn't sound fantastic at the moment, but it is a utility vehicle. This is a high occupant vehicle or, you know, a work van. Oh, almost forgot to use my one available tech here. Free upgrade, basically. Brake-wise, we need more front brakes. Well, we have Vanity discs available. It's pretty high on engineering time and a little bit pricey. So maybe we just pad it up a bit. And it seems as though we have far more rear brake than we possibly need. In fact, we could put drums in the back, probably. A little bit larger drum. Yeah. Alright, we found our happy medium there. That should save us a bit of money. Just a little. And in here, I think we're all good. I took the arrow off the back. Obviously, we don't need that. I put that spoiler on there just for the fun of it. All right, interior-wise, how many seats do these guys really want? 6 brings it up. 7 brings it way down. And 6 doesn't seem to hurt delivery, right? Not very much. Cool. Okay, that's what we'll do. How much radio do you want? The family wants a lot of radio. They want the standard 8-track. Okay, we'll give that to you. I assume they want power steering. Yes. And basic versus standard. Standard is the way to go there. Okay, okay. Progressive. Improvement. That is an improvement. It improves comfort and drivability. Gas monotube. Improvement both ways. And it's not terribly expensive. We'll do that. Could use a bit more drivability. It's rather understeery here. Let's give it front dampener to fix that heavy engine bouncing up front. And we could do a bit more camber in the front. Alright, well, we've got it to the point of what I would say is drivable as hell. It's got a huge rear sway bar in it, but that seems to be what it needed in order to get it to handle nicely. And look at that, we have a 0.1 sportiness now. 0.1. What a success story. Alright, well that was pretty painless. How did the markets do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 categories with a score over 100 with no markup. 10% markup and still quite a few. Still quite a few. What about like a 15% markup? Still doing real good. Alright. That's cool. Now the question is, do I need or should I make one that is more family oriented instead of this one that's like utility slash family? It's worth trying. So for this one I put 7 seats in it, trying to get more of a score in the like utility or sports utility, family utility. I'm going to try an advanced safety on it and more of like a standard interior. And let's see. Family sport now comes into play. Utility sport. Family utility is very good. So yeah, this is more towards the family side of things. So that's interesting. Oh, and family utility premium. And we actually have a really good values score there too. So yeah, I think I might do 2 of these. One that's, you know, kind of more like what Truffle's van was, which is like a very nice people mover, you know, gets a family around the country kind of vehicle. So that's cool that we can, you know, stretch this out a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't kill our engineering time having 2 of them. Found some nice gains in this one by getting rid of some of the wheel spin in gearing. So that's something I'll do to the other car as well. However, I think we're at a good point with this one. Going to be trying to sell it towards this family utility premium and family sport. So this one's going to be the family cruiser. So I can remember which one is which. And let me go back to the other one and do those minor adjustments to it. Alright, did that. So let's get into factory stuff where I am sure to falter. Total engineering time 3 years 7 months on the chassis. Engine 2 years 3 months. Okay, we're okay there, but I would definitely like to reduce the amount of time on this chassis engineering. Sure, that comes from having 2 of them. Looks like we really do have quite a bit in chassis alone, even though we have a lot of familiarity there. Even with the best funding we could possibly give this project, down to 3 years 2 months is the best we can do. I don't feel as though I need to really increase the reliability here because we really built a very reliable engine to go into this thing, so that should help us there. Engine-wise, we have tons of time on this, so we could up the reliability even more. Up to the 3 years. Yeah, 3 years, 2 months. Cost money, but increase reliability, and that is good. I can also hire me. Almost forgot to do that. Save even more money. Make it even more reliable. Alright. That's all hunky-dory. Let's look at factory stuff. I don't think existing productions Truffle is canceled. Yes, but does Truffle have a plot? It has cars, medium, Gazmea. Gazmea. But we don't have an engine factory there, so we would need to buy a plot for that. I'm hoping I have this right. I've screwed this up before. Assign. Yes, okay, so we can assign Truffle's car medium. And then buy an engine? No, we might have a Truffle. Please select factory for this plot. Engine. Gizmea medium. Buy. Right. Okay. So that's those taken care of. We have the medium car available. Nothing's being produced there, I think. And now we would just need to put the largest medium factory we can on it to make as many as possible. Oh, we want lots of automation in that because more automation is more gooderist. Yeah, I said it. I don't regret it. And medium 2 should be able to maintain that amount of engines produced. Oh yeah, 235 versus 219. More than enough of engines. But do we want to be limited in that? I don't think that'll ever be an issue. So that's 2 shifts, and we'd be matching 1.8. Oh yeah, we're very good there. So we're not worried about engines at all. Okay, okay. Did I match? Sure. So as of now, 15% markup on the Utilifam. Tons of good scores here. Just tons of good scores. Very good news there. We'll have to hope that that stays the case in 3 years, because this is going to be the longest engineering time we've ever had. How's the family cruiser? You see, it really does change. That's cool. That's something that I was worried we weren't going to be able to do, but it really does change to a whole different car, a whole different market, including a high score in Pony, of all things. This is a Pony car for certain people, I suppose. But yeah, it's nice that it's got such high scores in both categories. We could probably go to that 15 easily. Easily. Probably more than that for categories like this. Alright. Cone gets short of breath. 7? Maybe that's just not right. Maybe it needs to update or something? No. We couldn't make enough of these things at all at a 15% markup. How about 25? Barely. 35? Not even. Okay. So, do I need to go in and buy a whole new plot for this thing? A giant plot to make these on? Because like I said, this is going to be a car to take us probably through the 80s. A 15-year production. It would be able to make up that easily if we had to do that. I don't want to be stuck not being able to produce enough of these. I can't believe that 4,000 and 5,000 a month is not enough. Alternatively, you know, you just 50% markup them would be your alternative. Like, what would that do for us? Production would be starting in 78 and we would break even at 80 with that much markup. Or would it be better to produce a ton of them instead? I want to look at it. So let me go back and look. So let's say instead of the medium, we did a large. And instead of the medium, we did a large. And then we did a large 3 with the good automation. And large 3 with the good automation. Producing just as many as we possibly can. Good and good. And match the engines, yes. So, okay, we're still at 55, okay. Even with that, let's say we drop this down to reasonable, like 35% markups. And produce as many as we say we need in demand. That moves our break-even to 1983. Huh. Profit per month of 65.71. Oh, this is a hard choice. This is a very hard choice. Do we want immediate success or do we want long-term success? Well, it could still be successful even if we don't sell as many. And what are the odds that the demand stays that high for this thing? Probably not great. Much personal debate is going on right now. So currently, we would be spending 4.5 billion in factory stuff for this thing. That seems like a lot when we have a medium plot sitting there doing nothing. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna use that medium plot. If I can find it again. Where did it go? Okay, car. Oh, it's gone. Gone forever. Welp. Rip that idea. Did I hit huge? I meant to hit large. No, it's large. Okay. I wonder what happened to my medium plot. Is it gone to the ether now? Is that what has happened? When you hit buy, does it buy it? Like, is it said and done? I doubt it. Not till you say done. You know what? I'm gonna go for it. But I definitely could save money by not using the large 3. Because we'll never use that. Shifts at 2.7, engine at 2.9 to match. That's like absolute max production. We're talking huge numbers. Demand actually came down a little bit now, so you could even come down there, and that would be more than enough of engines and stuff like that. Break even 82. Okay, this I can live with. This is going to be a car that needs a lot of attention, I believe. A lot of adjustment as it goes. But let's go ahead and do it. Let's sign off on our Truffle Mark II. Big money was just spent there. Goodbye, all of that profit as we bought the land. But we're still above 2 billion. We're still above where we started. Even with that huge amount of money we just spent. It's going to be a while before we can see if it was worth it or not. Let's hope that it was. This episode's running pretty long already, and I think that's all my little heart can take, spending all of that money. I do hope you enjoyed, and I do hope that the truffle does well for us. It's going to be fast and furious here as we move through the rest of the 70s, because like I said, we need to replace the Roscoska and the ankle, and the ankle I would like to replace with something that is both commuter and sports. Something a little bit more all around. So that's going to be quite an interesting and intricate build to do through the tough and turbulent 70s here, and we'll have to see what the economy does. Who knows? But thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time.